Hi, I'm Mark, and this is my quick review on the Phantom X2 electric bike by Prodeco Technologies out of Florida. Um, First, I'd like to start by saying that I am in no way, shape, or form affiliated with these guys. I'm not a paid employee. It's just not a paid review. Strictly on my own accord. This is basically for people out there so that they can know what the bike is actually capable of. If you're on the line and you're trying to decide whether or not to buy this bike, then this is for you. Couple of things. One, if you look at this, it's a worthy investment. It's way cheaper than buying a motorcycle, cheaper than buying a scooter, and you're going to save a lot of gas. Um, First of all, it comes pretty much fully assembled in the box. Actually, the only thing I had to put on there was the handlebars and the seat. And of course, you can't fit everything in the box like that with the handlebars sticking out. So, you'll have to pull the handlebars out, stick it down, tighten that one screw, put the cap back on. That was real easy. And of course, the seat is self-adjusting, one of those with a quick release lever. A lot like the front tire, same thing. Okay, their claims of 25 to 38 miles on a charge is actually true. I tested it myself. Here's the thing. It really depends on your style of riding. I went, when I first got it, out to a buddy's house, about 11.2 miles away. And I went all out. I mean, full throttle. I didn't know any better, man. If you're an avid bicyclist, you can't help but pedal anyways. So I was pedaling the whole time, even though it's really easy. Went out there, watched a movie, came back, a couple hours later. The battery actually took a dive on me about 22 miles, right at about 22 miles. And I thought, wow, so how do you get 25 to 38 miles out of this? This is what I wanted to know. So I wanted to test it myself. So I read their manual, and of course there are ways to save the battery. They suggest you turn it off with the little red button that's on the right-hand grip where the throttle is. Coast when you can, like if you're going downhill, save the throttle and all, and common sense. Wind is a factor. So I took it out a couple of days ago in a testing phase. I wanted to see how far I could go on a charge with pedaling and conserving the battery. And what I did was I went out to a neighboring city. I live in Washington State, in Kennewick. I rode out to Richland to a community center out there, this giant park, and met my brother and his two little girls, and we had lunch. My brother took it for 2 rides. I said, "Hey man, go ahead and take it for a ride." And of course, he was pretty excited. He hopped on it, went around the parking lot, came back. I said, "Hey man, take it for a longer ride," and so he did. I asked him if he got it up to full throttle, and he said he did a couple of times. The bike tops out at 20 miles an hour, and that's unassisted. You can go 20 miles an hour without pedaling on a flat. He came back through the trees, through the grass, and he was quite shocked. He said he had a blast on it. My niece, she's 10 years old. She wanted to hop on it and go for a ride, but the thing is, it's a bit unsafe because she can't really touch the ground well enough. So I let her kind of ride around on it, and I held the back where the battery is. She gave it a little throttle, and it scared her, whoa, whoa, because it does have a lot of torque. It's surprising. Came back, and then I had lunch, took off, got back home that day, and it wasn't all flat. There's a long, slow incline that parallels the highway here between Kennewick and Richland on the bike trail, and I went that. I went through Columbia Park by the duck pond and came up Edison across the highway, and that's a substantial hill there, and that thing is a hill climbing beast. The Phantom X2. What I did was I kept it at quarter throttle all the time. I never actually shut the electricity off or hit the on-off button, which is the little red button I mentioned earlier. Um, I left it on because I wanted to know how far it'll go on an actual charge without shutting it off. The only time I shut it off was when I came home and wasn't riding the bike. Basically, when I wasn't on the bike, of course you're going to turn it off. It comes with 3 keys. You put the one key in, you switch it from on to off. Or unlock if you want to slide the battery off, because the battery charges on the bike or off the bike. So what I did, I kept it at quarter throttle with pedaling. But pedaling is easy, obviously, because it's like somebody pushing you. And I kept it right at about 10 to 13 miles an hour. I tried not to be a speed demon. I was just, relaxing, kept taking in the scenery, just going at my leisure. So if you keep that at quarter throttle 90% of the time, including going uphill, don't feel the need that you have to just gun it to get up the hill, because you don't. You can do that. But if you want to make it last, I actually got, you're not going to believe this, Prodeco's claims of 38 miles, 25 to 38, are actually correct. That says 55.08. I actually didn't get 55 because I forgot to shut this off. I went another mile before I shut this off. So I actually got 54 miles on a single charge. I couldn't believe it, man. 54 miles. So you could safely go 50 miles on this bike. And some of that was hills, some of that was in about 15 mile an hour winds. It wasn't completely, around the Tri-Cities here in Washington State. Man, you always got the dang wind. So yes, this bike will go at least 50 miles if you want it to. If you don't go all crazy and go full throttle all the time, just milk the throttle, give it enough to where it's like somebody's pushing you. Just take your time. If you're just going back and forth, around your town, around your city, if you want to go to work and back and you're not trying to be a speed demon, you can actually go further than what they claim. I was totally shocked. Now, I went down to my bank to pull out some money so I can gas up my car, and the battery dumped on me. Of course, at 54 miles. Now, there's the battery. Y'all have seen it. But for some reason, it's still got enough juice for the tail light. Actually, it's more of a tail light. It's not a real brake light because the brakes don't affect it doesn't get brighter when you actually hit your brakes. But it still has enough for that. And the little meter that they put on the battery, I would say, in my review, isn't really accurate because it still shows, red is supposed to mean that your battery is dead. And then one green dot is half, and then a second green dot means full charge. Well, it still shows that it's got a bit of a charge. It shouldn't. But that doesn't really matter to me. That doesn't matter to me. But I can tell you that the throttle, let's see. There's a gauge, kind of a gauge on the throttle here. 3 little lights. The green one, which says full on top of it. You can see a close-up of this in other videos or on their website, or go to Amazon.com. Click on the bike and check it out. The yellow light says half, and then the red light says empty. Now, it was at full for a lot, pretty much all of my ride until yesterday. I was at 40-some miles or so. And then when I started to give it throttle, which is right here on the right grip, just like a motorcycle, really. The green light would go completely out, and then when I got to close to 50, the yellow light would flicker. I knew I was in trouble. I knew that battery was going to take a dump on me right before coming home, and there's a big hill. There's some baseball fields not too far from here, Little League fields, and I thought to myself, man, I don't want to pedal up this hill in this beast because I've done it for 5 years actually on my Schwinn, and it's hard enough. You get a serious leg workout, and it did. So you learn quick to put it in an easy gear to pedal, and you know, you're just to move, keep them moving, get up the hills. But so in my opinion, the Phantom X2 from Prodeco Technologies is very much worth the investment. Uh, I guess they're pretty big around Miami, probably, you know, big cities. I've only seen one other electric bike around here, and it was more of like a beach cruiser with the battery kind of on a big square looking, you know, battery. This thing actually, I think it's appealing to people because it looks more like a mountain bike. You can't even tell. In fact, I've only had one person actually ask me if this is an electric bike, and it was I was on a corner pushing the crosswalk button, getting ready to go across, and I had a lady say, "Excuse me, sir," and she was in her car, stopped at the light in a minivan, and she asked if it was an electric bike and asked me where I got it. Then the light turned green. I couldn't really answer her fully, but man, when I'm going along the river or along a bike path or anywhere through, most people don't even give it a second look because you can't tell. So if you're on the line and you are thinking about getting the Phantom X2 or any e-bike, I really prefer this one. I really like this bike. Performance is great. The torque on it is amazing. I've had quite a bit heavier friends get on it, and they couldn't believe it. So you can go quite a long ways. The two main things that people care about the most: how far can you go on a charge? If you're riding full throttle, I can tell you you're going to go about 21 miles with a little bit of pedaling before that battery dives on you. And of course, I've already said, how far can you actually push it if you want to milk the battery, conserve it, and which I did. Only time I didn't pedal was when I was going downhill, and you're already going 12 to 13, 14 miles an hour. You might as well let off the throttle and just ride it like a bike or coast, you know. But most of the time I pedaled lightly, and I always used the throttle. I wasn't a speed demon. Again, 10 to 13 miles an hour is right about the range I kept it at, and I got a good 50 miles, 54 to be exact, 54.237 or something like that. But so to be safe, again, you can go 50 miles on a charge with this battery. 500 watt battery, and it, you know, there's the connectors, a female in, and it just slides right onto the back of the bike like this. Put the key in, put it up in there, turn it, you're ready to go. The bike does fold in half. It's kind of weird. How fast can you do it, and how easy is it to fold this bike in half? It's pretty easy. You know, hit the little nubs on the side of your pedals, pull them out, fold them down. There's a lever on that main bar in the middle, right behind where it says Phantom X2. Pull that lever out, and then there's a little rubber like grommet. Turn that up, and the bike folds in half. It's incredible. So again, I do recommend the Phantom X2. The customer service was great. They were very friendly. They were prompt. It comes with a 2-year bumper-to-bumper warranty. Again, I got replacement parts for it, more than what I asked for, and to be honest, it wasn't Prodeco's fault. It wasn't. It was the shipping company's fault. The trucking lines, who I won't mention. It's a dang good investment. I would recommend the Phantom X2 to anybody who is considering getting this bike. If you do get it, enjoy. If you have any questions, technical questions about it, I didn't get into the brakes, you know, too much, the derailleur, anything like that, anything you guys want to know, just let me know. Leave a comment or a question right down there. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.